Hello, everyone. I'm Crystal Jordan, Spring 2022 cohort in the Clinical Research Management graduate program at Wake Forest University. Along with my partner, Whitney Brandon, we'll be presenting on a subject that I'm sure we're all familiar with: constant employee turnover. She will come in later to present and explain a few things. Many have been left wondering why so many workers quit their jobs during the pandemic and whether they've landed in a better or worse job situation. Well, there's many reasons why this has happened or could happen. So during this presentation, myself and Whitney hope to provide some clarity. When you hear of employee turnover or that a company has a high turnover rate, most think of the employee quitting their job. However, there are several meanings to employee turnover. In fact, on the next slide, I will touch on 4 types of employee turnovers. With employee turnover, you have, of course, involuntary turnover, which could happen for many reasons. For example, the employee gets fired, the company chooses to downsize, the company may be sold, or they go bankrupt. Then you have, with voluntary employee turnover, the employee may just, decide to quit on their own. They leave the industry altogether. And of course, no organization is immune from voluntary turnover. However, people will decide it's time for a change and are likely to leave at some point. But it is possible to reduce voluntary turnover. Then you also would have retirement, which people tend to stay and exit due to retirement, which is, is part of life and out of the company's control. However, surveys show that some employees become disengaged and choose to retire early. And they might decide to exit your organization but keep on with their career. And one last one, there is internal transfers, which involves employees taking new positions within the same organization. And with this type of employee turnover, it can be a sign of healthy movement, but there may be other intentions behind an employee's cross-team move. Most will assume that an employer makes this decision and that the employee never wanted to leave. But with involuntary turnover, there is always 2 sides to the story. Many ask why people leave their jobs or why does that company have such a high turnover rate? Well, it can be many things. People leave jobs because they don't feel appreciated. For example, also a lack of pay, and they feel that they're doing more work and the pay isn't matching the progress. For example, doing a 3-person's job at the pay of 1. Or even the manager or supervisor's tone and or comments can offset a situation as well. And of course, don't leave out the overall toxicity of a company is a big one. What is toxicity? It means the quality of being very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way. So when a person says that their company or department is toxic, you should be able to understand what they mean. When you ask people why they chose to stay at their company, they may say it's because they fear the new job may be worse than their current, or, the loss of benefits or income, even the stability that they currently have. So, up and leaving a job sometimes it's just not that simple. Toxic environments can also impair employees' lives beyond their workplace, leaving them feeling emotionally drained and experiencing lower well-being and increased conflict at home. So leaving a toxic workplace as soon as you can is a healthy choice. But taking that step doesn't necessarily mean you're over it. As a leader, to keep employee retention, we should be more transparent by providing updates and encouraging staff to attend events to enjoy with the company or the department to boost the morale. We can also create an employee calendar to recognize birthdays, milestones, create employee of the month, provide incentives, or even bonuses would actually help. And right now, I'm going to actually pass the mic over to my partner, Wendy Brandon, and she will continue with our presentation. Go ahead, Whitney.
What is the cost of a high employee turnover? So first, we're going to start with money. Replacing an individual employee can range from 1.5 to 2 times the employee's salary. That means losing an employee with an annual salary of $80,000 can cost an organization as much as $160,000. And even modest turnover rates cost organizations a lot of money when you consider the entire company. At a 100-person company that provides an average salary of $50,000, turnover and replacement costs could be as high as $2.6 million a year. Next on our list, we have new and talented potential employees. According to the 2019 Job Seeker Nation survey, 71% of people use referrals from current employees when finding a job. Moving on to company culture, they found in the same survey that culture is more important for the retention of certain groups of employees. And nearly half of people with advanced degrees and those with children cited culture as being very important. Turnover due to culture could have cost organizations as much as $223 billion over the past 5 years. And last on our list, but most importantly, it costs employee morale. When you hire in a lot of different employees, and when those employees become part of a high functioning team, everyone's working as a well oiled machine. So when you lose a part of your machine, it puts a lot more weight on the other members of your team. And if this happens over and over and over again, it can lead to decreased productivity. So what's next? Who do we talk to? How do we make changes? How are we going to measure our success? So we're going to start out by talking to our stakeholders. In this case, it's our team leads, our group leads, our HR representatives, and we're really going to loop them in and get everyone in upper management as involved as possible. Because an issue like high employee turnover isn't something that's going to be fixed on the bottom level. It has to come from the top down. So we're going to send out employee surveys to really get an idea of what the employees feel like the problem is. We are going to follow up on our exit interviews. Every employee that leaves has to have an exit interview. And the information from that interview is going to be captured and kind of put into a database system so that we can come back to it and really learn from all of the employees that are leaving. We're going to pinpoint some champions, and we're probably going to have champions to get the employees to participate in their surveys. These champions are going to have to kind of breathe a little hope into the environment. Talk to the employees about the changes that are coming, and also be there to make sure that the changes that we implement are being set forth. We're going to measure our success by measuring our employee engagement. And we can start by doing that by sending out a survey a year after the first survey comes out. And we can, based on how many people participated in the first survey and how many people participate in the second survey, and what they feel like has improved. We can also hold a few more events and team building exercises, because we know from the slide before in the survey said that employees that are more engaged are less likely to leave. So hopefully once we implement these changes, our employee engagement will go up and our retention rates will go up, and we'll start to make some changes throughout the company. To sum this all up, I think Henry Ford said it best, and he said, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a process, and working together is a success. And I think once we get all of the management on board and we get the employees on board, to implement our plan, I think we will see some success in employee engagement. And hopefully, overall, that'll lead to a lower employee turnover. So, thank you for listening to our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed it.